Hi there. Thanks for joining CPG Bytes, a series of short video segments from Treasure Data, where we chat about the latest news and industry trends and read between the lines to provide our perspective and insights. So David, my friend, what do you have for us this week?
Good afternoon, Stephen. How you doing?
Good afternoon, David. I'm doing fantastic. And you?
I'm doing very well. I'm enjoying, we have good weather here. It's starting to feel a little cooler and like fall. So I'm looking forward to fall. But what I thought we could talk about today is an article that came out in Consumer Goods Technology about setting the right data foundation for direct to consumer. And, DTC is something we talk about a lot. But I thought this was a really good article that talked about getting a number of different things correct, especially around your data foundation as that, that kind of that underpinning, that critical foundation, if you will, for your direct to consumer strategy. And there was a number of examples and different kind of checkpoints and different points within this, but I thought we'd, kind of zero in on three that I thought were really important. The first one was around what was entitled Elevate Your Engagement Strategy. And this really is all around the expectation that consumers have around personalization and really helping, you understand them. But what I thought was fascinating about this, if I scroll down, is this idea about looking to inspiration from retailers. And I thought this was kind of cool, right? Because historically, I think CPG companies oftentimes had maybe better analytical capabilities and oftentimes interesting data, kind of outside in view of the retailer's business. When we think about direct to consumer first party data, retailers really have had a leg up, and this has been their bread and butter for years and years and years. And so I think this is an example where CPG companies can look to retailers to drive that innovation and to understand like what's the low hanging fruit. And we've talked about on numerous occasions about how important it is to define different use cases to get started. You don't want to boil the ocean, but you could look to retailers as kind of helping you build out that roadmap of different use cases and where that low hanging fruit is and where to start to drive that value. And then that value then allows you to reinvest and continue building out those DTC capabilities. So that was kind of an interesting sort of insight that was provided by this article. The second is around what they said was analyze the data that matters without getting lost in the weeds. And I think this is a pretty big struggle that a lot of companies have is there's just so much data and you can kind of get lost in it. And, I think I've mentioned this on other CPG Bytes videos. A former colleague of mine often talked about it's not about getting the data right, it's about getting the right data. And I think in this context, if you're really trying to build out that 360-degree view of the consumer, you need to think outside the organization and think about what other data sources might be out there and what integrations are available to allow you to quickly and easily pull those into, whether you have a CDP or into a data lake, et cetera. So it's all about thinking outside the box on other net new data sources that can help inform your direct to consumer strategy and analytics. And then the third thing that I thought was interesting here is around, building the right team. And I think talent is always a hot topic in this day and age. This article kind of talks about making sure you have the right team from a direct to consumer perspective, that DTC team itself. I would think it's interesting to think about maybe that through a little bit broader lens, if you will, and that if you really think about everyone within a CPG company, at the end of the day, they're representing your brand.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure that everybody in the organization, not just the DTC team themselves, but everyone in some way, shape, or form is kind of part of the DTC team, right? And it extends into your supply chain team. They need to be consumer focused. General Mills a few years ago came up with this notion of that their strategy was consumer first, right? It's putting the consumer first in everything that they do. And I think where this manifests itself in many cases, when you go direct to consumer, it's not just that website where you're engaging the consumer, your commerce site, but if a consumer, for example, has a problem and they need to call a contact center, making sure that your contact center employees are empowered to deliver a premier experience. It's all about those connected experiences that consumers have with your brand that's going to drive differentiation for you in the marketplace.
Yeah, no, David, I really like that phrase. It's not about getting your data right. It's about getting the right data. Every so often, we are inundated with the amount of data every day, but are these truly the right data you need to make the best business decisions at that time? You do need to filter out the noise, right? In order for you to focus on the right data and for you to get to the right results or the right objectives. Then that goes to the point where you have the entire organization marching towards the same vision. If DTC is what you have decided to do, then the organization needs to support that vision. It's not just the DTC department's objective, but the entire company's, right? Like you said, this is how you deliver that connected customer experience at all touch points, as well as optimizing all cross-functional operations where every team is using the right data to help with their DTC objectives.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So with that, thank you, David, for the insights today. And thank you for joining us. To read more about the DTC roadmap and foundations, please click on the CGT link in the description below. Also, we have a free interactive DTC assessment for yourself. Please go to the description and click on the link. You may just learn something new about what you can do to improve your DTC capabilities in the description below. And for more videos like these, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the bell for all notifications. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with more topics for CPG Bytes. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, and bye-bye.